Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Amrul Akmal bin Zaki. So today we will present to you about the Fiqh Mu'asarah in finance, which is in fiat money and e-wallet. For the introduction, Islam is comprehensive religion and way of life, where all the rules have been determined in all aspects of human life, which include question of faith, worships, morals to social and national affairs that include economic, educational, political and social demands. Finance is understood as all activities related to the exchange and management of capital. Finances are part of the economy because they have to do with different ways of managing money in specific situations. Finance can be divided into public or private finance depending on who is the subject or administering the capital, if a particular individual or if the state or other public institution.
Okay, first of all, we move to the definition of e-wallet. E-wallet, an electronic wallet also known as digital wallet, is a device or software application that allows a person to conduct electronic transaction with other parties by exchanging digital money for a product or service via a smartphone or computer application. E-wallet acts as an electronic wallet that is in the form of application on a smartphone that store all form of payment instrument not limited to e-money, credit card or debit card, and also record of form of transaction performed in one application. And e-wallet is intended to replace the physical wallet so that we do not have to carry a wallet or cash anywhere. E-wallet is used for a variety of purposes, such as to pay online transportation, to buy food and drink, to pay bills, topping up, transferring and withdrawing from e-wallet to bank partner. Example when known e-wallet in Malaysia are GrabPay, Touch and Go, Boost, Vcash and also Razorpay.
So before we have learned about the e-wallet's definition, now we move to the types of e-wallet. There's 4 types of e-wallet, which namely as e-money wallet, crypto wallet, mobile wallet, and IoT wallet. So e-money wallet is the typical web application that we use to download in our phones or any of our devices that can be connected to the internet. And the e-money wallet itself is we use it for online payment and storage of e-money, digital asset, and user data. Digital wallet, basically, they are run by the wallet provider. And in the digital wallets app, the user can top up or withdraw their e-money balance using payment instrument stored in the e-wallet itself. In addition, they can pay for e-commerce purchases either using available e-money or by charging a stored payment instrument. And popular example for these digital wallets are PayPal and also Amazon Pay. We move to the crypto wallet. What is crypto wallet? Crypto wallet is a wallet that stores the keys of users to access their cryptocurrency and conduct transactions. This means the e-wallet itself, it stores public, the crypto wallet itself, it stores public and private keys of the user. The key acts as a certificate of ownership of cryptocurrencies which are stored on the blockchain to provide the additional safety, so-called hardware wallets or cold wallet exist. Also, cryptocurrency wallets means that we use the cryptocurrency that we have with the payment that we wanted to do. Next, we have IoT wallet. IoT wallet is a wallet that attached to the Internet of Things. IoT stands for Internet of Things devices, which means IoT wallets will be allowing purchase directly from the IoT devices itself, such as something IoT that installed in the wearables such as watches, wristband, or jackets, and also on our stationary wallet in our devices like on our smart fridge or our smart glass computer. A mobile wallet means that it can be used online or offline wallets on mobile devices or points of sale payment, typically NFC technology, like hold credit and debit card data. And also it can be in form of the card that we use it in our daily life transaction. This credit and debit card data are stored on the special chip of the mobile device called secure elements. So either it is on your phone or on the basic plastic card that we use in our daily transaction, it both can be used with our daily transaction. We know that there are 4 types of e-wallet, but we want to focus more on e-money wallet and mobile wallets. So, e-money wallet is electronic money, which means the money that have inside the e-money wallets are exist in our banking computer system. And this e-money wallet we use to facilitate electronic transaction. And our e-money inside our e-money wallet are valued supported by fiat money. This means we can exchange it into our physical money that we use for our daily life. And e-money wallet can be used to transact electronically. And there are a lot of examples for e-money wallet in Malaysia. And we can divide it into two issuers, which is the non-banks and also the banks. And some of the non-bank example for e-money issuer is Pay, iPay, FTA, GPay, and a lot more. And for those banks, we have Maybank to you, RHB banks, and MB banks. There are two types of schemes for e-money wallets in Malaysia, which is the large schemes and small schemes. So what is the difference between large scheme and small scheme? For the large scheme, the user can use their e-money wallets 200 ringgit and above for their daily transaction, while for the small scheme, their daily transaction are limited to 200 ringgit and below. We move to the mobile wallets. Mobile wallet also can be understood with a digital wallet, which is a digital wallet can be in the form of electronic devices or online services. So mobile wallet can be used with e-commerce on our e-commerce, which is Lazada, Shopee, whatsoever it is, you name it. And in mobile wallet, we will be linking our individual accounts to the digital e-wallet, so that the mobile wallet will store the payment method, which is in terms of credential, debit and credit, or alternative rate payment, which means if we use the mobile wallet, we don't have to key in our individual accounts every time that we wanted to do our purchase payment. So wallet are very easy to use. Mobile wallet also can be used both online and in offline store. Why is it can be used both online and offline store? Because mobile wallet itself have the value and have the purchasing power to be used in any transaction that you wanted to do. There are a lot of examples of e-wallet in Malaysia, and some of them are Fiat and Maybank MAE. So for the Fiat itself acts as a payment gateway for online transfer, which means that Fiat doesn't retain any money and doesn't store any money in their apps. But Fiat does facilitate to transfer money from the user or from the customer to the merchant's account. In Fiat, we use Ujrah as main Islamic contract, or Ujrah also can be understood by payment, fee, or allowance. Fiat work will collect the fee from the seller or from the merchant, and the Fiat itself will offer the reward in terms of voucher, discounts, and a lot more to the customer, so that it will attract a lot of customers to use their facility. So because of Ujrah apply as their main Islamic contract in Fiat apps, it is permissible and there's no Sharia issue in Fiat. In Maybank MAE, MAE stands for Maybank Anytime Everywhere. Maybank MAE is part from the Maybank to You apps that a lot of people use it now. Before you wanted to use your Maybank MAE or Maybank to You, you have to reload your Maybank MAE account first, or we can call it as top up your Maybank MAE account first. So how can you top up or reload your Maybank MAE? You have to transfer money with CDM, FPS, or debit card. So because of Maybank MAE store our money, Maybank MAE acts as a trust account in the Sharia contract that they apply in Maybank MAE. But a lot of people see that they either use COI or YDR as their Sharia contract in Maybank MAE. So because Maybank MAE acts as a trust account, which means that they store our money, they would be applying COI as their Sharia contract. Also, but at the same time, Maybank MAE can either use YDR because they have a limit amount in the account that we use. Also, they have the insurance for their customer. Issue in Maybank MAE. For those who use Maybank MAE, might familiar with their built-in game. So in Maybank MAE, they have some built-in game in their apps, and this game will offer reward in monetary forms. So if Maybank MAE use core as their Sharia contracts, their main Sharia contract, the reward will be considered as riba, as riba are non-permissible in Islam. And if they use YDR, if Maybank MAE use YDR, the reward itself will be considered as hibah. Now we're going to discuss about the transactional framework for the e-wallet's payment process. For those who are very familiar with e-wallet or very early with e-wallet, here I will tell you how to do your payment with e-wallet. So the first thing first, what you have to do is to download any e-wallet apps that you wanted to use. So you have to download and launch your e-wallet, and then you have to register yourself in the e-wallet payment. And then you have to reload or top up any amount in your e-wallet because you might want to use it later on your purchase. You have to scan the merchant code of payment, and then you can key in and enter the amount of payment needed for you to be paid to the merchant, and then confirmation of purchasing and transfer your money from your account to the merchant's account. And that's all. Complete. That's all you have to do, and the transaction complete with the notification record, and you will get your notification in your devices that you use for your e-wallet payment.
Okay, next is about fatwa in application of e-wallet from Perak State Fatwa Committee, Muzakarah Committee of the National Assembly for the 170th Islamic Region Affair (MKI). The Muzakarah Committee is of the opinion that the use of e-wallet is required to meet the specified parameter, such as the following. Firstly, transaction involving data transaction must be done through an e-wallet operator that is approved and regulated by the entity only. Secondly, user and operators must have knowledge regarding the use of e-wallet, that is understanding their right and responsibility as contracting parties. Thirdly, is the operator is advised to seek Sharia advice from a qualified Sharia advisor. Fourthly, use of e-wallet as no element of coercion. Fifthly, is operator should clearly state the applicable contract and application for the consumer. Next, operator must ensure that there is a money return mechanism when the user closes the account on whether that occur. And finally, user must use a Sharia compliant e-wallet. Next is about the Sharia Advisory Council of Bank Negara Malaysia SAC ruling on e-money as a Sharia compliant payment instrument. SAC ruling on e-money based on Section 52 of the Central Bank of Malaysia Act 2009. For the ruling, firstly, the Sharia Advisory Council of Bank Negara Malaysia stimulated that electronic e-money is a payment instrument permitted under Sharia, provided that e-money complies with certain Sharia stimulation and is also based on appropriate Sharia contract to ensure responsibility and the right of the contracting party are reserved. Secondly, one of the Sharia contract applicable to e-money is the agency contract wakalah, where the approved producer acts as an agent to make payment on behalf of the consumer to the trader. And next is also approved issuer are required to comply with the guideline on electronic money issue by Bank Negara Malaysia. And finally, the user must ensure that the e-money is only used for Sharia compliant transaction.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Based on the article I looking, there are Sharia issue I find that deserve attention. First, about issue of merchant companies doing business not complying with Sharia. The e-wallet operator has laid down procedure and policies that should be followed by merchant companies. So any merchant companies registered under e-wallet operator must follow all procedure and policy in e-wallet. However, there are merchant companies doing business not complying with Sharia and sell to Muslims, such as selling alcoholic, non-halal food, gambling, sex and other more. So, to avoid this happen, the e-wallet operator must review the application made by the merchant to prevent the merchant from selling non-Sharia compliant goods. Second, riba and gambling issue on the use of e-wallet application. There are e-wallet provider companies that give a bonus for each top-up as a form of promotion using e-wallet. If the top-up bonus is a form of customer loan to an e-wallet provider company, then the bonus is considered as interest on the loan, and of course this is a loan of riba which is prohibited. However, the e-wallet provider does not have the right to refill the customer, resulting in no element of loan that can be done. Gambling, promotion that contradicting Islamic law such as lucky draw. Some e-wallet provider provide lucky draw to user of this e-wallet, which aim to attract others to use e-wallet. For example, if a user pay RM1 from an e-wallet account to participate in this lucky draw, and then there is an e-wallet user who win, and they receive a prize worth thousands of ringgit. However, for those who do not succeed in getting their money back, it is still considered a form of gambling because Islam does not look at the value unless the act is either haram or halal. Issue of placement of consumer e-wallet fund in amanah account in institution conventional banking. Based on the guideline on electronic money, e-money, any operator who provide e-wallet service need to set up an amanah account for the purpose of protecting the fund of user. The e-wallet operator does not specifically relate to the placement of e-wallet fund into an amanah account, later deposit in Sharia compliant banking institution or conventional banking. The effect if e-wallet operator placement fund in conventional banking indirectly causing the consumer to get caught up in muamal activity that slip from the basis of Sharia ruling.
For the next one, before we learn more about e-money issues,
I would like to explain a little about the advantages and disadvantages of e-money. So for the e-money pros, which is e-money is secure, which is service providers must adhere to elaborate KYC and AML processes. For the second one, e-money is fast. As we know, e-money transaction takes only an instant or at most several minutes. For the third one, the e-money is convenient, which is you enter your payment data once and can pay everywhere. So we go to the cons of the e-money, which is e-money requires high security. The compliance to KYC or AML is effortful. For the second one, e-money is not available everywhere, which is it depends of infrastructure and power. Next, for our main topic, which is the issue of e-money, which is related about cryptocurrencies, known as a digital disruption. People use money because they feel safe knowing that some central bank is backing up the currency they're using. Thus, they feel their money has value because a government somewhere in the world says it does have value. Cryptocurrencies have thrown this model upside down by having no central bank at all. It completely bypasses government, at least for the time being. According to CNBC, some central banks are considering developing their own cryptocurrencies. Although Venezuela has tried to create its own, its petro has not succeeded. If and when this revolution takes place, we will get hybrid currencies. The lack of regulation presents a new problem, which is actually quite old, which is money laundering. To help mitigate this risk, Bitcoin transactions are recorded on a blockchain, which is a public ledger. Transaction can never be erased, which helps create a transparent form of regulation. For the conclusion, taking everything into account, electronic money has become a staple of payment and the international financial industry, especially in countries with dynamic fintech markets like China or Singapore. E-money is convenient, secure and impressive with the rapid transaction speed, but most importantly, perhaps, it is intuitive to handle. In fact, applying for an e-money license is no longer the sole domain of payment companies. The platform economy has discovered the advantages of electronic funds too and wants to participate. Inventive companies like e-tailers, marketplace, platform or service providers, which is automotive companies, obtain e-money license to present their customer with worthwhile new features. In any case, even you are not a payment provider, make sure to keep an eye on electronic money. For the conclusion, now that you're aware of the pros and cons of fiat currency, you can make a more informed decision regarding where to hold your funds. Some are okay with fiat as it is. Others are looking for something more modern, such as cryptocurrencies or the financial avenues. Regardless, just be sure you know that you are getting into before converting your money to something other than fiat.
Fiat money definition is a banknote used by society as a medium of exchange to obtain a necessary or desired item. But in the perspective economy, being a legal and nationally recognized instrument of exchange made of either paper or no silver. Example, in Malaysia, the currency recognized is ringgit, while in the United States, the currency recognized in a form of dollar. That's why if we want to traveling at America, we must exchange ringgit to dollar. Concept fiat money. Fiat money is to create new possession power from something that is not available, such as exchange chicken with a piece of paper. It because fiat money has no value but reflect the price of all goods. Exchange tools and that do not provide an indirectly utility function, but can be used to buy useful goods.
Next, we move to the legal evidence of fiat money. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri narrated Bila came to the Prophet Muhammad with burning quality dates which are of good quality. Then the Prophet Muhammad asked him, "Where did you get the dates?" Bilal replied, "I have low quality dates and I exchanged them for 2 sars for 1 sars of these dates." Prophet Muhammad said, "This is the essence of usury. The essence of usury do not do this, but when you want to buy, sell this which is low quality dates in different transaction, and buy with what you get result from the sale. Based on the hadith, combination of dates that do not have the same value or quality, the type of dates is riba. Second, if you want to buy all other dates, the existing dates cannot be exchanged to get other dates. Instead, it must be sold, and the sale proceeds, that is dirham or dinar at the time, used to buy other dates. And lastly, it gives an analogy that if in this context it is 100 ringgit exchange for 150 ringgit for the example, this gives the analogy of the prohibition to usury interest. An example is that I borrow around 10,000 from the bank, but I have to pay 15,000 to the bank. The difference in exchange rate is what is said to be usury. The next part is scholars' views on fiat money. The first view is fiat money as debt documents. The scholars who hold this view are Sheikh Ahmad Al-Husaini, Sheikh Muhammad Al-Amin Al-Shankiti, Sheikh As-Salim Abdullah bin Samir, and the fatwas of the Mashihah scholars of Al-Azhar. Based on this view, it is not permissible to exchange between banknotes or fiat money even of the same type, because it is by al-kali bi al-kali or by ad-dain bi ad-dain, which is selling debt with debt. Fiat money are debt documents issued by certain parties. According to this opinion, the nominee on the banknote promised to hand over the value of the money printed on the banknote to anyone who claimed it. The debt document is also backed by gold or silver found in the custody of the issuer of the debt document. According to them as well, the value of the fiat money or the banknotes is not at the value of the paper, but to the value of the money certified on the fiat money. The government also gave assurances on banknotes if the use of banknotes is abolished. The second view is fiat money as commodity. In this view, fiat money are not currencies like gold and silver. In fact, they are only trading commodities. Sheikh Al-Sa'di explained that fiat money are not gold and silver due to the absence of the illah riba of gold and silver, which is the weight of the scales on the fiat money. Next are the stronger opinions of fiat money, such as commodities and money. Thus, there's no problem if during the transaction with him there is an element of tafaddul, which is addition or surplus, lack of value of absence of taqabbud during the contract of akad. And lastly, this paper money is not a currency but rather a commodity. The next point is fiat money is not real money on the side of Sharia and has no illah al-thamaniya. This opinion is from Sheikh Abdul Qadir bin Ahmad al-Badran, Sheikh Ahmad al-Husaini, Sheikh Salam bin Abdullah, and the part of Sheikh Al-Azhar. The money is issued by the state based on the value of gold and silver for each depositor from among the people. So the real currency is gold and silver savings, while paper money is only considered as evidence of individual savings in the country. It can be concluded that it is not legal to make fiat money as capital in a business or company which is in partnerships, and also cannot be used as a salute because the fiat money are considered as evidence of national debt to depositors. On the other side, fiat money have illah al-thamaniya. This opinion is the opinion of the majority of recent scholars. Among them are Sheikh Abu Bakr Hassan Al-Kashnawi, Sheikh Abdullah bin Manik, Dr. Wabah Zuhaili, the son of Sheikh Yusuf Al-Qardawi. This opinion is also the choice and decision of Majma' Al-Fiqh Al-Islami in its 5th Mu'tamar. So, the argument of the fourth opinion is, the first one, qiyas with gold and silver currencies as both are recited as intermediaries in the rings. The second, all human beings use it in all economic affairs, which is many people oftenly use fiat money to buy something or make a transaction with other people. And the third, the state recognize it, the problem of human beings, because human beings intend to use currency. Last, the Sadu al-Zara'i method. If the banknote or the fiat money does not have la al-thamaniya, it will invalidate almost all Islamic laws such as zakat is not obligatory and usury is not generated on it.
Next is about fiat money kawal fikir application. Al-Imam Al-Mawardi of the Syafi'i stated, Uli tasrif tokai al-maqsudah fahuwa batil. There is every action that causes one not to reach the end goal, then the action is void. As the passage above explained, looking at the application of all act is very important matter and the purpose of Islamic law. Whether the act is valid or not valid, a law is not only applicative for circumcision and must be seen for its purpose and application. For example, the changing aspect of the time also changed Islamic law in the use of current currency. Next is about la yang kiru tayyar hakam bi tayyar zaman. There is no denying that the census has changed because the time has changed. In the passage above, it is explained that according to Sheikh Mustafa Al-Zarqa, there is no change in the uruf of the people of an area and their custom. If uruf and adat lead to a law, then both of them change to another uruf and adat, and the law also changes to what conform to the new uruf and adat. This is because most of the law are different due to the difference in time and change in circumstances. And finally, Taqi al-fatwa bi tahyi al-zaman wal makan wa hawla wal adat. The meaning of fatwa change to the change in time, place, circumstances and custom. In the places above, it is claimed that a change of law can occur to the change in time and circumstances. According to Al-Qaradawi, based on the method the law established based on ijtihad, there's no consecutive will change with the occurrence of change in terms of time, place and circumstances and custom. For example, in Malay, there must be a current fiat currency that system that replaces the barter system.
For the problem and issue of the fiat money, the fiat money is that it risks losing its value due to inflation or become entirely worthless during hyperinflation for the simplest reason that it is not backed up by physical reserve, especially commodities such as gold and silver. The hyperinflation experienced by Zimbabwe demonstrates the propensity of some governments to expand the money supply by overprinting money. Economists Mark J. Allen and Michael R. Daly mentioned that aside from rapidly growing central bank reserve to lend to the government and state-owned enterprises, the Mugabe administration deliberately increased the money supply to win the favors of different political allies. Another argument against fiat money is that despite giving central banks the capacity to manage the economy through monetary policy, the mortgage crisis in the US that resulted in 2007 financial crisis exhibited otherwise. The event showed that the currency based on mere legal pronouncement could be unstable, unlike a currency tied to gold. On the other hand, below are the disadvantages and counter-arguments. For the first one, it can lose its value due to inflation or become worthless during hyperinflation for the simplest reason that it is not backed up by physical reserve. For the next one, history shows that some governments can have the propensity to overprint money, thus artificially increasing the money supply. For the last one, it artificially lowers interest rates and provides incentive for taking excessive risks, thus leading to an escalating solvency.
As for the conclusion, we cannot run away from the business of buying and selling and exchanging goods to get what we want and what we need. So that is one of the purposes for which this money system exists. The money system is used for transaction in muamalat affairs. Second, throughout human history, we have used gold and silver as money, and also when there is a shortage of gold and silver in the market, commodities that have a long life will be used to replace gold and silver. Besides that, not to mention, e-wallet service it actually helps people simplify their daily affairs. However, there are technical processes and promotional methods that need to be examined by e-wallet provider companies if they want to ensure that their services are Sharia compliant. And lastly, the concept of fiqh mu'asarah in general is aimed at adapting Islamic law in the domain of mutaghayyirat, which is the component of furu' that can change with the environment and uruf of a Muslim community.
Alright.